News Ipsos poll finds more Americans trust Trump's handling of the economy over Biden's. So we're taking a look at 5 major areas of the economy and how Biden and Trump each left their mark. I want to take a look now at inflation because some experts believe trillions in COVID-related stimulus handed out by both administrations, remember, led to higher prices coupled with supply chain shocks. So let's take a look at inflation because it was under control during the Trump administration until the recession. Then we saw inflation fall to nearly zero when the economy shut down. And then we saw it snap back up in a big way when the economy started to reopen. And at its highest, inflation was at 9.1% in June of 2022. It's come down dramatically, but still we have prices 3% above where they were just a year ago. All right, let's take a look at what we've got next. Interest rates, because high inflation led the Fed to hike interest rates. Let's take a look at where they were during the Trump administration. Near historic lows, well below 3%. Then, of course, they hit near zero during COVID, and the Fed had to start emergency cuts of interest rates to try to fuel the economy again. Oh boy, did it ever. And we saw prices take off, inflation took off, and the Federal Reserve had to respond by hiking interest rates 11 times. It was unprecedented. And that, of course, led us to a big jump in home prices. Those higher rates, a major reason why buying a home is out of reach for so many Americans today. So we have home prices hanging around $330,000 during the first part of the Trump administration. The recession hits. Working from home becomes a thing during COVID. We saw a demand spike, couldn't keep up with the supply. And of course, we saw home prices up. Now they're averaging more than $400,000 in this country. But during this time, between the spring of 2020 and late 2022, a 35% jump in home prices, folks. And that mainly is because interest rates also doubled during that time. They're now at around 7%. And finally, just want to take a look at gas prices because we're all impacted by gas prices. Presidents have very little control over them, by the way, but it's one area where the Trump era was definitely better for Americans. You can see gas well below $3 a gallon for his presidency. COVID hits. Gas prices were actually at $1.84 a gallon in this country because the economy shut down. And then, of course, things spiked when the economy reopened. And I don't know if you remember, but a couple of years ago, we had gas prices above $5 a gallon. So that could be a big reason why those higher pump prices could help explain some of the pessimism Americans are feeling right now about their finances. Diane?
Alexis Christoforous, thank you.
First, I want to start with the job market because, as you can see, during the Trump administration, solid jobs being added month after month. In fact, the unemployment rate was at 3.5%. That's a half-century low. And then, of course, things drop like a rock. We lose millions of jobs during COVID and the huge snap back when the economy reopens. Jobs are added at its lowest, the unemployment rate at 3.4%. And during the Biden administration, 15+ million jobs have been added overall to our economy.